Hey guys, what's going on today? Bojo here, back for some more news regarding NHL 16. As today we're going to be looking at some more of the community submitted questions that have been answered on the Ask EA portion of the NHL 16 website. So once again, guys, if you do want to ask your very own questions to possibly be answered by Rammer, executive producers, or people who work on the game, make sure to go visit the link in the description below, which is www.easports.com/NHL/ask. That's ASK. And you will be taken to a website where a bunch of questions regarding NHL 16 have been answered. And today we have actually gotten some more questions answered, and we're going to be taking a look at them today. So, first one was, will we be able to hire and or fire coaches in GM mode? And unfortunately, the answer is going to be no, although there is future plans for this being added in future installments of the game. Obviously, we have had this question answered before because the problem with it is because of the copyright and the licensing with all the names of the coaches and all that fun stuff. So I definitely think it will be added in an NHL game eventually, but not yet until they get all the rights sorted out. Zamboni racing. Is there going to be Zamboni racing in NHL 16? Unfortunately, the answer is going to be no, even though we did have that be a question when the EA SHL committee was brought together and there was like a big survey sent out. Would Zamboni racing be something that people would be interested in? Unfortunately, it is not going to be in the game. Is there going to be warm-ups before the games, whether it's EA SHL, whether it's HUT? Unfortunately, there is not going to be any warm-ups before the game, although there is going to be new animations for the warm-ups. Offsides animations, basically the question was, is the offside animation where the players drag their skates along the blue line to prevent being called offsides? And yes, that animation will still be back, and they are being improved upon so that the players will do different techniques in order to remain on sides when a player has the puck entering the zone. Now, one regarding EA SHL is that even though EA SHL has been a mainly 6v6 kind of gameplay, will you still be able to do 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, etc. in EA SHL? And yes, the answer is going to be yes. You still can do 2v2s, 3v3s, all that fun stuff, although the real game experience of that mode is 6v6. And now another question is going to be for roster updates, and is that, will there be more frequent roster updates? Because the comparison that the person put in the question was Madden updates their rosters almost weekly. Well, that's because Madden's games are only one game per week pretty much, other than the occasion where you can have a game on like a Monday night or a Thursday night, but NHL games happen almost every day throughout the season, so it's a possible thing, but they were saying that if you update one league, you have to update all the leagues, so it's possible, but it's being looked at for how frequent they can do them. Now regarding EA SHL and your Be a Pro character, is that, can you use your EA SHL Pro and OTP? And like we have said before, the answer is no. You can only use your EA SHL Pro and EA SHL. If you want to play OTP, you're going to have to use real life skaters that are in the game. Now, although some people have put this on YouTube as a joke, one of the questions was, can there be a possibility of putting a Be a Ref mode in the NHL series? Although Rammer answered this question, he said it has been a highly requested feature in the game, but unfortunately it is on a very low priority at the moment. Now, for Doc Emmerich and the NBC Sports presentation package, will there be improvements to Doc Emmerich's expressions this year for the next year? Because like we have seen in this version of the game, some of his expressions are very robotic and not really how Doc would sound in a real life NHL game. So there is definitely going to be more detail added to it, taking into account road trips, home games, home stands, long ass road trips, playoff games, all that fun stuff. They're being taken into consideration for the next game. Now, superstar authenticity. We have seen this in the player creation mode where you can actually be really specific with your superstar creation, but this one was for already pre-created NHL skaters, and in that, will each NHL player have their own specific equipment that they use in the real life NHL? I think the example was using Ovechkin and Jonathan Toews' specific equipment. Now, they have said that not every single player will have their own specific equipment, but you can add, even though you can't edit player stats, you will be able to edit their equipment so that they can reflect a real life skater. So even though the team they said is going to be trying their best to recreate these superstars equipment styles and all that fun stuff, you can edit their equipment so that they can reflect their real life skater. So I think that's actually pretty cool. Regarding Be a Pro and the AHL, will you be entered into the AHL upon being drafted, unlike NHL 15 where you were put into the NHL right away? The answer is yes. If you don't make the NHL roster at a training camp, you will be put into the AHL or CHL, dependent upon your age and or playing style. All right, going on to the GM mode and drafting system, they wanted to know what the possibility is of having those elite players like Datsuk and Zetterberg and all those kinds of players in the 4th to 7th rounds in GM mode. Now, they were saying that there is a low percentage of having one of those elite players come out of those rounds, but using the real world stats that they have found in the game is going to be very unlikely that you're going to find a very, very good player past round number 3 in GM mode. So that's one of the main reasons you won't be able to find those elite players in rounds 4 to 7. And finally, will there be a cover vote this year? There is not going to be a cover vote this year, unfortunately. So I think, it's really interesting why they're not deciding to do a cover vote this year. I think it was a very good marketing technique where, just whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on the internet as a whole, I mean, that drives a lot of attention to the game to get people excited, whether or not it was rigged or not. We have seen in the past when they did have the cover vote, in the very, very little text at the bottom of that cover vote page last year, it said that they will take into account what winner is chosen, and they might make changes to it and to be comparable for everybody. But we have seen that they can have their own effect on the cover vote. But unfortunately, there's not going to be a cover vote this year, which means they're going to pick a player very specifically for the cover vote. So the winner is going to be announced at the NHL Awards. Once again, last year, they're going to unveil it. As for who I think is going to be on the cover vote this year, it's a really good question. Like I said, there have been certain videos that have been put out where it's always been like a Canadian player on an NHL team. Looking at the stats this year, I could definitely see Carey Price being put on there. I could see maybe one of the Anaheim Ducks, maybe like Ryan Getzlaf or Corey Perry. I could see that. Jamie Benn. I could see him doing there, the points leader. I don't see Sidney Crosby getting put on there, even though most people would like to see that. Who else, really? Those are only the kind of people I would see. Maybe like a young guy like Vladimir Tarasenko to get the international guys in there as well. I could see that. Other than that, I really don't see maybe John Tavares as well. It could be a lot of people, so I think it's going to surprise a lot of people when we actually see who's going to be on the cover of NHL 16 this year. So no cover vote, unfortunately. It's a very bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for them, but I do think that's going to drive down a lot of hype and a lot of, marketing and social media aspect to the game, that there is going to be no cover vote this year. So those are some more of the questions that have been answered for you guys regarding NHL 16. Like I said, if you want to go ask your own questions, go to easports.com/NHL/ask, and you will be brought to the page. You can ask any question that you feel like regarding NHL 16, and it will be answered. Like I said, I will be bringing back you guys more NHL 16 news regarding questions that have been answered regarding the game. And I'll be looking forward to bringing you guys some more news. I think the next news that we will be bringing up is the trailer that will be released at E3 for NHL 16. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. As always, hope we're bringing you guys some more NHL 16 news whenever it is released. Other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.